last question that we ask all of our guests is how your identities influence who you are, particularly when it comes to Blackness and how you relate to your Blackness and also how you take pride in it every day. And so our last question is, what does Blackness mean to you?
Anything based on your experience, like what does Blackness mean to you? How do you embody that too?
Blackness is not homogeneous. Because the crazy thing is, Blackness is Jay-Z, Blackness is Erykah Badu, Blackness is Barack Obama, Blackness is Christian Walker, Blackness is Candace Owens, Blackness is MLK. I think the answer is Blackness is everything. My best friend is Caribbean and from New York, and I'm American, and I mean, she's American too, but she's of Caribbean descent. Our experiences are so different, but we are both Black. Like we're both having a very Black experience. They're just such different experiences, but they are still both Black experiences.
The Black experience in the United States is a historically unique one in the sense that, our vantage point is of so many people having privilege and opportunity in ways that we did not have inherently, that we had to struggle for, to the extent that our rights are inscribed in this country's documents. It was because we had to fight to make it happen. And so I find that, learning about the histories of people who did quite a lot under very difficult circumstances. I've been doing a lot of research recently, for example, about Reconstruction. The fact that in the American South after the Civil War, you had people who were formerly enslaved within a period of 3 or 4 years suddenly making the laws of their state. Legally could not read or write, but did so surreptitiously, finally getting their chance to show what they could do as state lawmakers in Louisiana and Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, other former slave states. And understanding that adversity is such a big part of the Black experience, but it's also the overcoming of it, as we've discussed. And I think that that's something that we take with us wherever we go, in the institutions that we build up, in the community that we create wherever we go, even if they are in institutions that are dominated by people who are not us. We always have a way, I think, of seeking each other out and acknowledging each other for the work that we do, even though we have very different, potentially class backgrounds, we could potentially have very different political philosophies. There's that commonality that unites us in understanding that we had to do a lot of work no matter what background we came from to get to where we are. And that's a celebration whenever we're able to build that community with one another, such as we've been able to do in this interview. So it's been great to be able to be on your show.
Oh my gosh. It's multifaceted. There are so many different ways to be Black and approach Blackness. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about growing up around a lot of different types of Black people. Like we talk about the Black excellence Blacks, we talk about the bougie brunch, or people might be more hood, a little bit, more street, whatever, but you can also be an amalgamation of all of those things. And the culture is just beautiful. It means, line dancing or pinning money on your shirt or, whatever, sitting together on the porch or talking about your experiences or making fun of each other, but you know that I'm only making fun of you because I love you and I'm close and we can kind of go back and forth. Just a whole different language that you might not even understand. You might be like, oh, do y'all hate each other? It's like, no, this is how we talk. Like, we just get on each other. We drag each other a little bit. And so for me, it's just something beautiful that many try to duplicate but never can quite get. And I think that's something I love about being Black, because we can just tell right away, like, something's a little off there. Like, you didn't quite use that word correctly, or the way that you structured that sentence together doesn't make sense. Like, you're definitely trying to imitate something. And so just clocking it. So yeah, it's kind of difficult because I think Black is it can be so different, and you can approach it so differently. You don't have to just be one thing or talk a certain type of way or look a certain way. But at the same time, there's still a culture, right? Even though we're all so different and interested in different things, there's still kind of like this cultural phenomenon that flows. Even if I grew up in Atlanta, you grew up somewhere else, like far away from me, we'll still have these commonalities. And I think that's just amazing.
Blackness means excellence. It was the first paper I wrote about. I remember in middle school, I had a phenomenal teacher who was actually a white male, older white male at the time, who's now recently passed. Said, can you talk about you just as a human? You're going to write a letter to yourself, and then you're going to open it up 20 years later. And I wrote about, at that time, I was experiencing a lot of profiling and sort of microaggressions, discriminatory experiences in my life, becoming from a boy to a man and growing up. And I wrote to myself that you matter and that you are excellent, and you will always be excellent. And so that means that everything I did, I put my best foot forward. That doesn't mean that you're going to be the best swimmer on the swim team, or you're going to be the best ball player. That doesn't, or you're always going to get all A's. It just meant that I was going to put my best foot forward. And that doesn't mean that you're always going to have all of the energy, right? Today, I might have woken up at 5 and said, I got a lot of energy. I'm really perked up and ready to go to the gym. And I put my best foot forward. And tomorrow, that might mean I'm a little tired. And I got a little less energy. I'm still going to put my best foot forward, but it might not look like what it did yesterday. And that's okay. Because when I reread that letter, I've got it framed. When I was talking about excellence, I was talking about putting my best foot forward with what I could give in that moment. That I agreed on that contract between me and myself and I. And so folks, put your best foot forward and never doubt that that's not good enough.
And I would say Blackness is a cultural reference because Black encompasses every shade. You come to a family reunion, you'll see blue-eyed, blonde-haired, and wonderfully curly-haired, very dark-skinned cousins, all equal and equally beautiful. But what unites us is a commitment to our African-Americanness. What unites us is a commitment to the betterment of humanity that stems from our commitment to the betterness of bettering the African-American community. And what unites me with my Southern Black roots is joy, spirituality, a legacy of oppression now denied. And I will always live with that bittersweet. The agonies are the lowest of the low and the joys are the highest of the high that are part of the African-American culture. So the African-American ethos, as I define it, is actually what connects me to other Black people, more so than the color of skin. And
I think Blackness to me means resilience. It means joy and creativity. It's beautiful. It also, there are elements of it for me personally that can be painful, but not because of being Black per se, but just like kind of in that sense of like pain that you like experience but overcome, like kind of understanding kind of pain that is part of my family story and that they have carried and that impacts that's part of it too. But I think that's something to embrace, not run away from. And I think it is Blackness to me is this wonderful unfolding rich story of resilience and thriving in the face of challenges that might have crushed other people. And I think that I just take so much joy and pride in being Black, in the story of my Black family, and in the Black story that each and every one of us as Black people is writing today and creating today. And that's what it means to me. I think that sense of resilience and joy.
Blackness is greatness. At least that's what I'm trying to inspire. People ask me why we're focused on the Black community. why the mission is to maximize Black health. And I think it's important that I kind of parse that out, because I'm actually not so much interested in how Black health compares to the rest of the population. Right? I identify and highlight the disparities just so that people can understand that there's clearly a problem, right? Average life expectancy in the Black community is 72 years. Average life expectancy in the rest of the population is 78. That's a 6-year gap. Right, and 6 years might not sound like a lot at 72 or 78 years old, but if you extrapolate that across the rest of the population, the Black community is losing 268 million years of time on Earth. Time is our most valuable asset, and it compounds. Right, that's not just 268 million years of time. That's 268 million plus whatever the lost compounding effects are as well, which are obviously incalculable. And part of why the gap continues to widen, we just have less time. We will never catch up that way. But I'm actually not interested in achieving health equity per se. That is to say, like achieving the same life expectancy. I want to see what our maximum potential is as people. And so my vision for Black people, I don't know necessarily what I regard Blackness as right now, but my vision for Black people is greatness, achieving our complete potential, and however that manifests, always dreaming bigger. And in alignment with the core values that some are innate, some we do have to come up with ourselves, because our environments don't necessarily communicate that or are conducive of that. But yeah, a pursuit of greatness. That's what I would like it to be.
Blackness is my heritage, is my family, my family's family, the long line of people who have come before me, and I'm just trying to do my best to push my family's legacy forward. So again, your Blackness, my Blackness is a superpower. It is not a weakness. It's something to be proud of. It is a shield, it's a force, and we are magnetic. And when I step into the room, I'm lighting it up, baby, with all my Blackness. Unapologetically.
When I saw that question, I kind of break it up in two things. On this earth, I feel it's a shared history. I feel there's shared struggles. And I feel there's a shared cultural expression. That's what's unique when I think of Blackness, to me personally, and that journey that you have, as you're on this earth. I'm hoping once you get to heaven, all that is gone and that disappears, and you have that true sense of equity, right, and unity. And so, I kind of look at it when you're on earth, but also when you're in heaven, hopefully you get that unity of what we all desire to be. And so that's kind of when I step back and kind of think of that question. That's how I positioned it.
There is no American history without Black history. And I think honesty around those stories is the best policy, not trying to obfuscate what it is and sugarcoat it. I remember being in class and they would do slavery things, and I went to a predominantly white school, even though I lived in a Black neighborhood. That's the school they bused us to. And we would always be the ones they're staring at in that class. It didn't affect my life. It's something I still remember, but it was eye-opening to understand that people even looked at you that way because we didn't grow up that way, right? And so people being upset about that being taught, banning books, changing history, giving out trophies to everybody, none of those make sense. This country is built on entrepreneurship, success. The number one driver of employment is small businesses. And I think that Black people in general were always bred, because we didn't always have money. We were barter. We were really the big traders and creators of things, and we were resilient.
It means experiencing the world from two sides at the same point, in the sense that from the inside out and from the outside in. From the inside out, that's how I present myself to the world. And what I mean by that is I expect, matter of fact, I demand acceptance as well as respect from others, who I think in turn should expect the same from me. Same treatment as a fellow human being with just as much potential to contribute to the betterment of society as anybody else, but who also happens to look different, think different, feel different, and act different from the so-called majority. Maybe it's with that. From the outside in, this is how the world presents itself to me. And I have to be realistic in the sense that others aren't necessarily going to give me the acceptance and the respect that I expect and demand. And that's evidenced by the fact that, you know, this country has voted to endorse white supremacy and open criminality over character, which used to count for something in the people that we elect, people that we trust to lead and otherwise inspire us, and not to further divide and otherwise dehumanize us.
Blackness means to me basically just expressing yourself and being tied to your culture and making sure that you don't forget about everybody that falls under the umbrella of your culture. Black is beautiful. We come in all different types of shades. We have made so many different, contributions to society. We're always overlooked and trying to be erased. Where people take ideas that we have made, styles that we have created, and they try to rebrand them as, their own little thing. Baby. We are the innovators. We are the people we are really the ones who inspire and create. And I feel like being Black and gay, I have an intersectionality with both. And I feel like being a Black gay man is just all about my expression, my just the way I carry myself and embody myself, whether it be with the culture, the sound, the way that I dress, the way that I act. It is important to exude that and never lose sight of who you are as a person. And I'm forever tied to my Blackness, and I'm proud, and I love everybody that is Black, whether it be from the darkest shades to the albinos. We are beautiful. We are stunting. From the kinkiest hair to the curliest, we are amazing. And I'm just excited for everybody out there that is just like me, just like you guys, creating and putting themselves out there, because we are the blueprint, period.
Blackness, I'm going to circle back to the beginning. Blackness means to me Ubuntu. I am because you are. That is what it means. That's where there's liberation. That's where there's peace. That's where there's love. That's where there's joy. That's where there's connection. For me, that's what Blackness is about. It's about seeing Black people on the street and you don't really have to explain yourself. It's about, you can be, I'm not in a Black sorority, but it's about being in a Black sorority, Black fraternity. Like, it's just, I don't know. I am because you are. And we try to move in those ways as much as we can. Yes, there's capitalism, there's racism, but I see Black people trying to live that out as much as they can, and I want to be a person who's living that out as much as I can. So that's what Blackness means to me. I am because you are, because we're Black, right? Mm-hmm. Black, biracial, Black, queer. The thread is Blackness, right? And so yeah, there are those differences, but that thread of Blackness is just as powerful because of the similarities and just as powerful because of the differences.
Blackness is commonly defined as community and based on your strength of identity within that community. And I think that means like how proudly you claim to be Black, and that's who you are. And I think there's a lot of truth to that, but being Black is culture after all, and to me it often feels personal first. So culturally, like Blackness is seeing yourself through so many lenses that you learn to kind of build your own. Like you have to find yourself in every single room. And it's how can I exist as myself as I navigate the world as it unfolds. And so kind of being Black is deciding who you are every single day. Like it's very many hats. And it's being a part of a legacy that is constantly challenged. If you're not one thing, you're another. If you don't act a certain way, you're not being yourself. And so it's kind of just intuition at the end of the day. And being Black sharpens who you are, your sense of self.
Blackness means relationships, perseverance. Everyone on this planet has ancestors that came from where we came from Africa. So I would say originality. We are the first, and we shall not be the last. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning into Identity Unboxed, a space curated to amplify Black voices, foster authenticity, and provide mentorship and representation for those within our community. As we close out this season, we are excited to share that we will be releasing our Black History Month series, Legacy Lens, where we will explore our history through the lens of Black scholars, experts, and activists, using education as a conduit for our collective liberation. Check back in February 2026 for new content. And for now, we hope you have a happy new year with those that bring joy to your life.